welcome back to Edge Your Steps, powered by Aladdin Your Success. This is part 2 of Surviving Finals Week, tips from top students. Last week, we went over the be and know portion of Surviving Finals Week. We went over what you need to know, the type of person you need to be from a values, principles, characteristics standpoint. Just a brief recap, we talked about the mindset of a Finals Week champion. We talked about being aware. We talked about being compassionate. We talked about being intentional. We talked about things like sleep deprivation. And then we answered some questions. We talked about the type of mindset that held you back, that held us back when we were taking finals when we were younger. We also talked about how finals weeks have changed and if we knew what the research says now, right? Basically about a lot of sleep deprivation, how that affects you, how your emotional standpoint, your mental health, how all of that is important as you get ready for your midterms. And then we talked about the no, right? We talked about science-backed learning and stress strategies. We talked about the fact that fewer than 20% of students get recommended sleep during finals times. This affects memory consolidation, how you hold on to what you learn and how you retain. It deals with focus. Not getting enough sleep affects your emotional regulation. And most importantly, I'd say it affects your test performance, right? So know what study methods work, right? For you. Know that stress affects learning. And then we had some questions. We talked about the difference between busy studying and effective studying and why we think sleep is still the most ignored academic strategy. So lastly, we're going to talk about the do. And this is the finals week action plan, right? Remember, we're not just doing, but we're doing with excellence, right? We're executing with excellence. So here's some things that we can do. And to the squad, make sure I want y'all to listen to these because the questions are going to be based off of these actions, right? These actionable steps. So list every exam, rank them by difficulty, and assign study hours. Try to organize your study sessions, right? Do active recall, flashcards, practice tests, teaching out loud. Do protect your sleep. 7 to 9 hours improves accuracy and recall. Do move your body. Short breaks decrease those stress hormones that break you down during studying time. And do build a support circle. Check in with someone each day during midterms, during finals. So for the squad, my first question for everyone is, if a student can only do one action from that list, which has the biggest impact and why, right? So if you could do one of these things, support circle, move your body, protect sleep, do active recall, create a finals map, which one of these would you all say is the most important?
It's a tough one. I'm gonna have to say creating a finals map and probably just listing out the to-dos, what you got to do, when the different finals are, when your time to study is, because there's an old saying, and it's that planning prevents piss poor performance. And that's the thing, is that when you don't have a plan in place, usually your performance is always going to suffer. So I would say creating that list and making that plan.
Hey, LYS fam, it's Olay. You know, if there's one thing I love, it's something free. I'm talking free 99, un gratis. No shipping or handling fees, no gotcha fees, nothing like that. With that being said, if you're graduating soon or thinking about college or need a nudge or help to decide, then our free ebook, 10 Things to Think About Before Going to College, has a very balanced and open-minded way of presenting your next steps. It captures broad topics in a personal way by giving students an insightful, interactive, and reflective source of inspiration. It is very beneficial to be able to visualize some of the concepts after high school and apply them directly to you. We all know life, college, and career planning decision-making choices for students can be challenging, especially as they near the completion of high school. This book will provide you with a self-paced guide to your success beyond academics and into real life. Not only is it free, you can complete this book within a week. This will definitely prepare you for long-term success. To get your free copy, simply go to lys.com/students. I mentioned it was free, right? Well, if I didn't, it's free. Like, for real, for real. Okay, back to the podcast.
I do got a quick question. When we say the do active recall daily, how soon we saying that we starting that on that list?
What do you mean?
Because you said if we could only do one, which one would we choose? And I need the details if I could choose one. So when we
Yeah,
say the active recall daily, when does that start? We saying that start at the beginning of the year, or that's you talking about that starting around test time?
around test time. I'd say around test time.
Okay.
Good question too.
Gotcha. All right, cool. No worries. All right, so my answer is gonna be the map, creating the map. Because then you can organize your time and how to distribute that time during finals. You can dedicate the most amount of time towards the most difficult because that's going to need the most of your brain power. But if so, that would be the one. But if you're talking about do active recall daily from the beginning of the semester, I would say that one would be the most important, because if you're doing the daily recall activities, studying the whole entire semester, when it comes to final, it's just the same information presented in the test. But so that's not the case. So I would say, give me the map for 100, please.
No, I love that answer, Crawford. I would actually mirror everything you said. I don't hate to be, it is what it is, but I think those are great. And my hope is that we're all speaking from a personal perspective here, just when we were in school doing these things. I think there's a certain actionable step. It's a really personal step when you list every exam you have to take, and you have to list their difficulty, and you assign the hours needed for that. I think planning is so important at this time. And I think just the action of a student listing their exams, listing how difficult they seem, right? Because if you have two students who are taking the exact same courses, the difficulties are different, right? A lot of times, of course, they may be the same, but I'd say 9 times out of 10, they'd be different, right? Because every student has their own strengths. And then you do those study hours. And I also do with what you said as far as the active recall daily. When I was in college, the thing that saved me was this website. It's still around. I still use it. It's called freezingblue.com. And freezingblue.com is a very simple website. It's a very basic website. And what it is, it was an online index card, a flashcard website.
Hey, LYS fam, it's Olay once again. These days, many families are busy but want personalized attention. We at Laddering Your Success understand this dilemma and have created a unique approach to help guide you and your child with personal development tools to build a life of purpose. This intimate approach is helpful for those parents that feel the need to have a focused heart-to-heart conversation deciding on the next steps after high school. We provide individual post-secondary planning, virtual customized college and career counseling, and scholarship guidance and planning. Our one-on-one sessions are tailored to each individual student to maximize their potential in the post-secondary realm. With our guidance, your child will be able to make their dreams a reality. Don't wait. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to business on this podcast.
So you would put in the question and you put in the answer. And as we talked about in the part A, or the first part of this series, or this topic for today, I talked about how I used to do these all-nighters. And a huge part of my all-nighters was flashcards. So I would just go one after one, 100, 200 flashcards of information. And that really helped me out. Practice tests helped me out. Teaching out loud were all very beneficial. So that would be my go-to for that.
Tell me why I thought the resource you was going to say was cliffnotes.com. I was going to say that was the go-to for all high school students and college, but you still failed because it gave you the detail that you needed. It gave you like the brief overview.
For sure. The funny thing about Cliff Notes is Cliff Notes was pretty popular when I was in high school. And what I noticed about myself was I needed something shorter and quicker. And I noticed that I didn't do Cliff Notes because you still had to read something, even though it was shorter. So I said, if I didn't read it beforehand, I was just going to take what I got. Remember how they used to say in high school, Festus and I graduated in 2004. I think Dr. Crawford graduated in 2005. And I don't know if y'all remember this, but they used to say on multiple choice tests, if it's A, B, C, D, more than likely the answer is C. The worst advice ever. But circling C and just like charging it to the game. Like, it is what it is. Well, let's see what happens when I turn into Scantron. Y'all remember the Scantron? Shout out to Scantron.
All the C's.
For sure. So my last question for everyone is, what was your worst finals week habit, and how would you replace it using these do strategies?
Ooh, man, my worst finals week habit. I would say my worst finals week habit was a lack of sleep, probably. But mine, I don't know if I could change it that much. I really don't, because juggling work, finals, and I don't know if I could change it that much.
For me, the habit would be the cramming part. So just cram right before the test. So I would change that. What I would do to change would be to do the active recall daily and just practice going over the content daily instead of just waiting until the last minute before the test to cram.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, I'm the same, man. I told y'all the story. I think I freaked Festus out when I told him my all-nighter stories, but it was definitely protecting sleep. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that, but I am a night owl, and when you're young, you don't think about the benefits of sleep. You just don't. Even as I'm older, as I'm almost 40 years old, I am slowly starting to realize that because of the society we live in, we make lack of sleep normal. And that is not how our body is designed. I think we're just functioning off of the go, go, go mentality. And I think if I could go back and do it again, I'd definitely get more sleep. And hopefully the night before or 2 nights before I had a final or a midterm, that would just be a night to go over things that may be difficult. Because if I did have a finals map and I did rank everything by the difficulty, I would be able to say, all right, I know I need to really focus on these certain things, and then get a good night's rest, and then come in there ready to go instead of like bubble gutted up with McDonald's and 30 minutes of sleep, talking about I can do it. You know what I mean? Definitely do protect and sleep. There you have it, folks. You got the input from the squad here at Laddering Your Success. Thank you so much for joining us for this part 2 of our finals, or our midterm assessment, our midterm call, sorry. And so just wanted to drop out that last portion there about surviving finals week. So please make sure you like and subscribe. If you listen to us on Spotify, wherever you listen to us, please make sure to comment and engage with us. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe to Laddering Your Success. As always, for Dr. Jamarc Crawford, for Daniel Hill, for Festus Amoye, I'm Olay Shorunke. Thank you so much for listening to this latest episode of Edge Steps powered by Laddering Your Success. Festus, go ahead and hit us with the phrase that pays, man.
And there are legitimate excuses for not going to college. There's no legitimate excuse for not getting an education. If you like what you heard, hit the like button. If you think somebody else needs to hear this, hit the share button. And if you thought, man, these guys are fires, I need to continue listening, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and we will see you on the next episode.